Hey there, thanks for tuning in to 100.3 The Sound. I am Julie Slater, and we have a very special guest, Elliot Easton from the Cars!
Woo!
Yes! Thank you for popping by the station.
Well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I have a funny story. When I was 15, I had my first guitar teacher.
That is funny.
Yes, isn't that hilarious?
Yeah! Oh, that's not the whole story.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait till I get to the big point of this. When I was 15, I had my first guitar teacher, and he was in a Cars tribute band, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So it's kind of funny when you go back to when you're 15 and then things that happen later in life, you know.
And they just played Cars music?
Yeah.
You remember what they were called?
I was trying to think of it today. It might have been something like Moving in Stereo. You know how it's always based on... Have you ever gone to see a tribute band of your own band?
No, of the Cars, no. I have seen, I've had the experience of being in a club or a bar and seen like a local band play a Cars song, but not like a whole set or anything.
That's pretty cool though. Did you ever go up to them and say, hey, I was in the audience? Because I think they would probably die.
No, I didn't. This was early on too. We were on tour like in '79 or something, went out to a club and Ben, I think, was playing You're All I've Got Tonight. I'm like, wow, you know.
What was, just going back to the beginning, what was the one moment for you when you realized the Cars were really like, wow, this is a big deal? You know?
It's an interesting question because it was a funny process being inside of it, you know, and not being an observer from what everybody else saw happening. And it was, the defining moment. I'd say one of, certainly an early important defining moment was when our producer Roy Thomas Baker first came and saw us at a little a college gig in Worcester, Massachusetts, and it was a snowstorm and there were about 4 people in the audience, and our manager dragged Roy to this little gig, and we were already signed to Elektra, but hadn't figured out who was going to produce us or where we were going to record. And Roy came out of, like, you know, if you've ever met Roy Thomas Baker or heard him, but it's like, you know, like being with a Monty Python character. Hello, my loves. How would you like to go to England and make a record? And that sounded pretty good to me. I mean, you know, we'd never been anywhere, you know. I mean, I grew up in Long Island, New York, and had been as far south as D.C., I think, you know, up to Boston. And so, and being a huge Anglophile and a fan of all the music that came from there and the clothes and everything, you know, we were just so excited. And we, short time after that, we found ourselves in London at Air Studios, which was George Martin's studio. Wow. Right on Oxford Street in the middle of London. And
how old were you guys then?
Well, we weren't all the same age. So, but I was 23. And that first record took 12 days to make.
It's pretty fast, right?
It's real fast. I did all my guitar parts in a day and a half. And, you know, that record is still going strong. But we were only in England for 21 days. It was 12 to record, and then Roy would like to mix 1 song a day. It was 9 songs. And that was it. And then we went home. And it was the blizzard of 78 or 77 in Boston, or the whole Northeast. Anyone who was there remembers that it was a huge blizzard, and we kind of missed it by being in England.
Oh, wow.
And we came home and heard all about that, and all our friends were just dying to hear the record, and, you know, we had tapes and stuff. And, you know, the early days were very exciting because it was all on the up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was like a new, exciting thing was happening almost every day, you know, and we were so fortunate because the band was well received. You know, it's one thing, every kid who plays guitar dream to be in a rock band and make records and go on tour. But I remember us distinctly having conversations in England saying, God, this is so much fun. We just hope it sells enough so we can make another one. You know, we didn't know, you know, any idea.
It's a great place to be in.
Oh, it was awesome. You know, they put us up in this incredible house with a maid and
you guys are rock stars immediately.
I grew up lower middle class. I mean, this was big stuff for me.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting. And, you know, as you go on, there's high points. You know, of course, I think about Live Aid and the US Festival and winning Video of the Year at the first MTV Awards.
Wow. Yeah, and it just this past week, it was 30 years that MTV started.
Today.
Isn't that crazy?
Today I saw it on the news.
August 1st, right,
Yeah.
at midnight last night.
I just saw it on the news today that it was their 30th.
Yeah, pretty
which
neat.
makes me feel also okay.
Well, I think it makes us all feel a certain way.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like 30 years ago.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. They actually used to play music then.
Yeah.
And, and I didn't have it, and people would tell me they're seeing our videos and stuff, and I never saw it. We were on the road all the time. So I didn't really have, it's like you were asking before, like what it felt like. And a lot of it, like when you're in it, you're not sitting home watching TV.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really get to see it. And people would say, we saw your video and this and that. And, and you'd get to a strange town that you'd never been to, and all these people know who you are and stuff. And it's truly an amazing experience,
I bet. Now, how about, okay, so it's been 24 years since the last album you guys put together.
Yeah.
So now, what's it like going out there? You have all these great memories from the past.
Yeah.
So, but there has to be now a different but cool feeling that it's all behind you and that you guys can just go out and do what you want.
Yeah, there's some of that. I never stopped playing and touring.
Yeah.
With other bands, but it was interesting to go back out on stage with those other three guys.
Yeah.
Would have been four, but Ben, may rest in peace, is no
Yeah.
longer with us.
That has to be pretty heavy to be doing all this without him.
It was, and
But it must also be
he was missed.
neat to know that if he were, he's probably would have thought this was a pretty great idea.
Oh, I have no doubt that he would have been right there along with us,
Yeah.
if he were around. But and we decided that we couldn't replace him and we wouldn't try, and that the fans would have to accept us as we are now. And so we went out
I'm
with
sure they
four, and there was some technological challenges of trying, having to create a bass on stage where there was not a bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of it was a programmed keyboard, and for some songs that were more guitar-centric, Greg just played bass, and there were no keyboards, that on stage for that particular song. We just found ways around it, and we were right. Our fans understood, and they were just so happy that we were there, and it was a love fest. It really was.
That's great.
People just tears and
so
happy
sweet.
to, hear those songs live again and hear those parts and stuff played live and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Where are you guys taking it now? Are you going to still go
Well,
out?
we're taking it to Lollapalooza in 3
really?
days. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we're going to Chicago on the 4th, and
That's cool.
and we're playing the 7th. I guess it's the 3rd day of the festival. Playing somewhere in the middle of the afternoon there, and the only.
Did you guys play? I think you played the Palladium here recently.
Yeah.
Will you be playing any more shows in LA?
Well, I don't know. There's nothing booked, but we're working on it.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, some of the fellas in the band are not as enamored of touring as others.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of comfort level and, coming up with something that's interesting for everybody and that everybody would want to do. There's, I can understand why someone wouldn't want to tour.
It's a rough life.
It
Yeah,
sounds
it sounds
real
exciting
glamorous and exciting, but my catchphrase for that whole thing, what I always tell people is that I play for free and I get paid for the other 22 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part.
That makes sense.
I'm not standing on stage for a couple hours playing music. I'd do that for nothing. And that's just a joy, and it goes by like nothing. But the rest of the day, you don't think about it sometimes. Like everybody that goes home at night gets to use the same pillow for their neck. Imagine, a different pillow, a different mattress every night, weird food, funky travel.
I always think about when you see a
work.
band in LA and then 8 or 10 months later they come back and you go to see them again and you think, oh my gosh, they've been on tour this whole time.
They haven't been
like,
home yet.
I've been doing my life. They're still touring. It's a pretty crazy life.
It's a pretty crazy life, but it's, it's very rewarding in some ways,
I'm sure.
And it's, all the things that go along with touring, the drawbacks, I think for me the good outweighs the bad because I really do enjoy playing. I love to play music, and I love to see the smiles on people's faces when you've given them joy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just something that it fills you up. So.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming by to the
Thanks
Sound.
for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And good luck with whatever touring you guys end up adding on.
Keep our fingers crossed.
And good luck with your guest DJ slot here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is Elliot Easton from the Cars right here on the Sound.